Okay, we're on the north side of the garage. This is the electric meter. The electric power is coming below grade. Box is sealed. That's good. This is the grounding rod. The grounding rod should be buried. That's an 8-foot grounding rod. It's supposed to be buried 8 feet. An electrician might be able to measure the resistance on that and demonstrate to the code inspector that we've got enough resistance. It meets the intent. Code inspector might give you a pass. That's what happened to my house. I wasn't here when they did that. All I know is the rod is not buried 100%. For that matter, I don't even know if the rod's really 8 feet. Sometimes they cut them in half. I get twice as many rods for the neighborhood, but from what I can see, the rod's not properly buried, so that's all we have to go on. We got bonding. The gas meters, the gas is bonded to the electrical system, so our electrical system is bonded back at the HVAC system, so the electrical system is bonded at the gas. Supposed to have 2 groundings and bonding also. A UFFER, the rod inside this garage, inside the north wall right there. That can serve as bonding and your second ground, and so we've got all those things. So the bonding and the grounding we're pretty much covered on. The grounding rod's a little high, yahoo. Inside the garage, east interior wall, this is a 200 amp service panel. What do we got here? You're not supposed to have a gap more than 1/8 of an inch. That compromises the fire blocking. The wires are not supposed to be touching the panel cover, okay? If that got energized, it could energize you, I shouldn't be touching it like that. Coming along here, our bonding location is supposed to be labeled. He said, well, I can see bonding right there. I can see bonding right there but it's supposed to be labeled in here. We didn't have our bonding location labeled. L1 and L2, they got these nice little, curbs around them that are supposed to have neoprene covers. If you don't know that's hot, you don't belong in this cabinet. I get that, but you're supposed to have little neoprene covers on that. And you're supposed to have, look, those are drywall screws. This is supposed to be nailed into place. Nails have much more shear strength than screws, especially drywall screws. Drywall screws pop and break. If this structure was to experience a tornado, for example, and this garage got blown away, you've got a bad day. I get that. It's all gone away, man. It's just, I get that. But this cabinet would stand a better chance of staying in place, at least with some kind of a function. It'd have much better chance if it had been nailed in. So that way, the cabinet is not flopping around on the floor when the first responders are coming and they're having to step over it to go in there and pull people out of the house. I get it. It's not going to happen. It doesn't happen very often. But when it does happen, you wish you had nails instead of screws, just saying. So the statistical relevance of that, I don't know. But still, that's what I'm here for. You shouldn't have paint inside the cabinet. And, that's not on the panel board. So if it's not on the panel board, then I make an educated decision to, I wish it wasn't there, but it's there. It's not going to change. So now, the manufacturer thought, the manufacturer's intention is that we would have duplicity on the circuit breaker labeling. All right? So manufacturer specification supersedes code. One thing that the manufacturing codes share is that you see these numbers right here, 14, 15, see they're upside down, so it's not properly labeled. All right? But that's printing. See where it says Eaton? That's printing. See where it says UL listed, US listed? Printing. Danger. Printing. This is handwriting. It might be block writing. Some people, when I was in school, we called it printing or cursive. Remember those days? Some of you aren't as old as I am, but for those of you that are of my age, you remember that. But this is all supposed to be written. It's not supposed to be printed. It's not supposed to be printed. 40 and 25. Let's see what we got going here. 40, 25. How about that? The condensing units are properly labeled, properly fused. This is good information to know. Now, look here. That's how you test these things, right? These are your AFCIs. Doesn't work. Your AFC doesn't work. That's for the nook in the kitchen. And it says GFCI. It is GFCI protected in the kitchen, but it does not work. Look at that. Hey. So what did we learn? We learned that our cabinet was screwed in. We got more than 1/8 of an inch gap. We do not have the plastic booties. We learned that this circuit breaker does not trip. We learned that we got wires touching the cabinet cover. We learned that it's handwritten and and we do not have duplicity. Oh, it's 200 amps. And we also learned that it's got an energy rating right there. I like to see those. That's what we learned. Wrong kind of screws, gaps. No rubber booties. Wires touching cabinet cover. Oh, I know there's something else. Go some notes. Gap, screws, covers, wires touch, no duplicity, handwritten, and tall grounding rod. Okay.